there's a bit of an obsession in the media here around testing. You know, ATAR scores, NAPLAN, all the time NAPLAN, and sometimes this international test PISA. And you know, some of the teachers I've been talking to kind of go, they're not that useful, you know. So what's the deal with our obsession with scoring, and is it that helpful?
Yeah, it's a really, really challenging question. You know, do we need to have standardised testing? And the short answer is, I don't think so in the current form. I think it provides a great level of anxiety for parents, for the students, for the teachers, compared to any value that it actually might give. And I think quite often the value for these is a value that the system can analyse. Now, I think that it is absolutely imperative to have evidence that the student is learning and that learning is occurring. It's just whether we are measuring it in the right way, and it's also whether we are measuring the right things. So we often say at Education Changemakers, you know, are we measuring the things we value, or are we valuing the things we measure? And when we have standardised testing, what happens is we are forced into really starting to value the things that are being measured. Now, they're very narrow and they're not necessarily the right things, and they're not necessarily the things that we want for the whole child. And so we might, and I would argue that we're definitely missing a whole heap of things when we force teachers into narrowing down into really valuing the things that we're testing on a standardised test. And so, yes, for me, I would say in the future, I would argue that things like an ATAR are irrelevant, that actually it's authentic evidence of learning that is actually going to become the key thing. And if I'm an employer these days, I don't care what your ATAR score is. I care about your authentic evidence of what you've been able to do. What are the problems you've been able to solve? Show me how you've collaborated with other people. Show me how you identify and come up with those solutions. What processes do you use? How do you learn? You know, that's the sort of information I care about as an employer. Therefore, that's the sort of information we need to be assessing. And it's much harder to assess it. But, you know, if we don't start to value those things and measure those things that we truly value as teachers and as a society, then we're always going to be forced down this narrow path. So I would argue that there's definitely better ways to collect evidence, analyse that evidence, and provide great learning for kids, especially with the technology and the opportunities we have of how to get the right data.